Porsche is a luxury brand making the finest sports and supercars that money can buy. But that's the thing, money, and a lot of it. But with this car, that was a long time ago, and with time comes depreciation, which now means that people like me can buy one of Stuttgart's finest. Of course, that's buying the car. Can I actually afford to run this thing? And that's the question I'm going to be answering. I'm going to be running you through some of the regular running costs of my 987 to find out whether these cars should be reserved for the motoring elite or whether mere mortals like you and me can afford to enjoy these cars too. So let's start with number one, and that's going to be fuel. And right on cue, the fuel light has just come on. So let's go fill this up and get stuck in. All right, so that is the tank full. At the moment, I'm using premium fuel in the car, so 97 octane, which I think you should on these slightly older cars. And that, at an average, is 158.6 pence per litre. This has, all 987s have a 64 litre tank, which will probably give you around 300 miles, depending on how you drive. And at the moment, this has now become more of my daily. I'm doing around 800 miles per month at an average of 20 mpg. So of course it depends on how you drive, but that comes to a total of £291 per month in fuel, which I think that's going to be your biggest expense when it comes to owning one of these cars. But that's sort of par for the course when driving a older naturally aspirated car. You're going to be getting lower MPGs in the around 20. So the next thing I'm coming on to is insurance. And this will vary quite a lot, dependent on age, location, and all sorts of different factors like that. But I'll just give you my experience. So it's actually a lot cheaper than I thought. For me, I pay £367 per year for this car. That is actually very cheap for a 3.2 litre sports car compared to something else that I looked at, more stereotypical for someone of my age, maybe a 140i or even an M2. You're looking at about 900 to 1,200 quid per year for one of them. So these cars are actually incredibly cheap to insure. And of course that is for myself. I live in a town in the Cotswolds and I'm 26 years old. So something to consider, but definitely run a quote. But that comes to £30.60 per year. But let's move on to the next one. Now we're coming on to tyres, and this is something that I have done in my ownership, just on the rears. The fronts are due. There are so many different options when it comes to tyres. I'm just going to go on what the forums and owners and everyone that I speak to, what they recommend, which would be Michelin's. So for a full set of Michelin's, I've gone on to Black Circles and quoted up fronts and rears on that, which would come to a total of £988 for a full set fitted. Let's say that it varies on your use, on how long that's going to last. Let's say it lasts about 2 years if you're using this as sort of an occasional car, weekend, maybe some longer road trips, which that over the course of those 2 years would be £41 per month in tyres. So now that we're down here by the wheels, let's talk about the next one, which is brakes. Now this is going to be affected similarly to your tyres, affected by your driving style and how much you use the car. I'm going to go off my experience. I've done in my ownership a full set of discs and pads, which I did myself. It's an easy enough job to do yourself, which I'm sure you saw. If you didn't see that, it means you're not subscribed. So go and change that. The video's up here. But that was easy enough to do on your driveway or in your garage. And the full set of discs and pads for me cost £520. I fitted it myself. Of course, it wouldn't cost that much extra for a garage to fit it if you didn't want to do it yourself. Let's say they last you about 2 years as well. Of course, this is an estimation and I don't think you're going to be going through a set of discs in that time, but that's just how I found it so far. £520 over 2 years comes to £21 per month. So I'll add that to the total. The next cost that I'm going to come on to is going to be servicing, which is something that you should do each year, making sure that your flat six in your Boxster doesn't go bang. much like mine. If you were to go by Porsche standard, they say their service intervals are every 2 years. With these being slightly older cars, I would probably say go for every 1 year, alternating between minor and major, depending on your mileage as well. That may come around sooner. What I'm going to be going off is RPM Technics, which means you're getting it done by a very reputable specialist. I don't see the point in taking these to main dealers anymore, because you're just going to get an incredible price hike for a car that realistically these things cost around 10 grand. So I wouldn't go to a main dealer, but then again, I wouldn't go to Halfords to get this service. So RPM Technic, a well-known specialist, for a minor service on their website, they quote £310. And for a major service, they quote 620 for these cars. So an average of those two be £465. Every year, cost per month is £38.80. Of course, with this car specifically, because it is a bit of a cheap Boxster and I'm filming it for you, I'm going to be servicing this myself in the coming week. So subscribe for that one. And I'll show you how easy these cars are to work on yourself, and you'll be bringing that cost of ownership right down. First of costs is going to be the insurance. That comes to £30.06 per month. Tax, £34 a month. MOT is going to be £45 per year, which comes to £3.75p a year. Fuel on this, with the mileage that I'm doing, I'm paying £291 per month. That is using it for occasional daily use, and especially at the moment, there's a lot of car shows on and events and drives that I'm going on. So that's £291. Tyres came to £41 per month. Servicing, £38.80 per month. And then the brakes are £21 per month. So really, you're looking at in running costs about £400 a month, which I've never drawn it out like that, and actually makes this car still look quite expensive for what it is. £400 a month does actually bring to light how expensive some of these cars are, but it's a price I'm happy to pay for being a Porsche owner for the time being, and hopefully we'll go on to other Porsches as well. But that's it for the channel. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, like and subscribe, as there's many more videos to come.